Good evening, everyone. I'm making this video because I was in a visiting service today, and the topic was unity. And it's a serious topic because in our community there really is no unity. It used to be back in the day, if my household did not have sugar, then your household would be kind enough to share some sugar. But we have gotten so far off track for being helpful to one another. We're so geared and prone to pointing fingers at people without knowing the reasons why they do what they do. We have no compassion. We have no heart for nobody. We don't care about nobody's situation except for our own. And we are all pieces to the puzzles. And sometimes puzzles get fragmented and pieces get scattered, but we don't know how to get those pieces and put them back together. Everybody plays a part in progress and process. And I don't think that we realize that what you do affects what happens to me, or what you don't do affects what happened to me. You can't make a cake without the flour and the eggs and then put it in the stove and know that cake is going to rise and be moist and have the flavor that you think it should have. Our attitudes, our respect for one another, our compassion for one another makes a world of difference. And we don't have that. We just don't. People, as I say in other videos, they're hurting economically, and they're not, able to sustain for their families. We have organizations in our community that has a mission, but the mission is not going forth. They're just in it for the funding. But what do we do within our households to make a difference in your community? What kind of voice do you have in your community? Are we selfish for the fact of just being selfish and we don't care? Or are we selfish to a point that I get mine and you got to get yours the best way you know how? Our system is built on statistics. And whatever the statistics say in your area is what funding comes into, or how they make decisions on what they're going to do. We sit back and we suffer in silence. We don't say nothing. We just suffer in silence. We're good at pointing the finger. We're good at finding fault and what somebody else should or should not do. But have you ever stopped to sit and look at the man or the woman in the mirror and say to yourself, what part do I play for no progress? What part do I play in my neighborhood being torn down or torn up? What part do I play in not disciplining my kids so they could have respect for their elders? What part do I play? Because everybody plays a part in one way or another. We sit back with lackadaisy. We have blinded eyes and deaf ears. But yet we want everybody else to make us to be cohesive. But we don't want to make ourselves, we're not supportive, we're not encouraging, we're not respectful, we're killing our own, we're stealing from our own. And the funny part is, the people that you set out to hurt is suffering just like you are, just in another form, but they're still suffering. So, my people, and I'm talking to my people, because we do a lot of lip service, but we don't do no service. There's no action to our service. So if we want to get back to being a better society and better neighborhood, better communities, better families, better household, we are going to have to stand up and look in the mirror at ourselves and see, what part do I play in the madness? What part can I play to make a change that will make an impact, that will receive results where we can see some differences in our community? It's time out for us pointing fingers. It's time out for us to get solution and stop all this complaining. It's easy to complain, but the solution is what we need to be working on. If your kids are out there on the street and they're being disrespectful, that's because you allow them. Again, like I said before, labor hurts. It is no joke. But I will not have a child live in my house and I go to 9, 10, 12 hours of labor and I can't tell them what to do. Parents, mothers, fathers, take your households back. Because that child is on the corner selling drugs and you are struggling, so he's coming in or she's coming in providing you funds for selling drugs, so you feel like that gives them the opportunity to take over your house. This is what's wrong with our society right here. We didn't listen to everybody to raise our kids except for the structure that we should have for raising our own kids. Again, we got babies raising babies. If I'm a baby having a baby, how can I provide some guidance to my baby when I'm a baby myself? If I have low self-esteem, if I have no confidence in me, how can I be a productive part in this puzzle? If I'm following for every trick, every line, every lie, how can I make a difference? You have to know the value and the worth in yourself. And then and only then can we clean up our neighborhoods, our blocks, our households, our schools. We need to start somewhere. Because if you look around, it does not matter what state or city you are in, it's happening everywhere. And we need the unity for us as a race of people. We need to unify for one cause, one purpose, one focus, one direction. And we need to make sure that we get there. It's time out for playing. We really need some unity. And people just don't do things to be doing it. There is a reason for everything that happened, whether great or small. But what part are you playing in making a difference? That's something we need to think about. Hopefully you will think about it. And I make these videos to prick your thought process. And sometimes I say I'm not going to get mad. I get upset because it makes me mad when my people, and I'm throwing myself in there, we don't step up and do nothing. We want to complain. We want to point the finger. It's easy to point and it's easy to complain. The hard part is getting out your chair, walking out your door, making your voice heard, and doing something about what's going on in your area, your neighborhoods, and your communities. That's where it starts. That's all I'm saying.